like to give a very warm welcome to the Massachusetts Patriots. Jeff Boca!
I want to thank all of you so much for coming up tonight. I know it's a bit chilly, not as chilly as it could be, but you're here and I really appreciate it. I want to thank Diana for inviting me. I want to thank Margot, who is absolutely incredible. Is she incredible or what? What they are doing, and I'm choosing my words very carefully now, and I lay this out in my column, is they are indoctrinating or trying to indoctrinate and brainwash 14 and 15-year-old kids. These are 9th and 10th graders.
Not in my backyard.
You got it, buddy. Not in our backyard. In world history, they are Jew baiting. They are claiming that Israel is an apartheid state founded upon mass murder and genocide. They stand there and openly whitewash the crimes of Hamas, of Hezbollah, of Palestinian terrorists, and Islamic terrorists all over the Middle East. And then when you, the hardworking taxpayers of Newton, of Massachusetts, who, let me be candid with you, you pay for this school, you pay salaries, when you simply want to know your God-given right to what these teachers are teaching your kids. They're telling you it's none of your business? Hey, I got a memo for David Fleischman. These people here and the people of Newton, they don't work for you. You work for them. It is literally mind-blowing what is going on here. And look, it is time now that we speak truth to power.
Yes.
And you need to know this, and I think now the world needs to know this. Islam, with all due respect to David Fleischman and Ruth Goldman and everybody else peddling their anti-Semitic, anti-American propaganda, Islam is not a religion of peace.
Right. Yep.
It's not.
You're right.
Amen.
Yeah, you're right.
And this is Encyclopedia Britannica stuff. This is not, I don't have to cite to you an author. Prophet Muhammad himself had multiple wives, including child brides. Prophet Muhammad waged military campaign after military campaign, religiously cleansing the Arabian Peninsula. Prophet Muhammad actually said, the only way Islam will spread is by the sword. There is nothing peaceful about Islam. So the question I have for David Fleischman and Ruth Goldman is, where's the peace? I don't see the peace. And my question to them is this: did the Holocaust not teach you anything?
No.
Did you not see what happened to the Jews the last time they were silent?
No.
When murderous anti-Semites were allowed to run wild? And you stand here and are allowing the same thing to insinuate yourselves and itself, this anti-Semitic ideology, into our schools? Shame on you. Shame on you. My friends, it is time for David Fleischman to be fired. It is time for Ruth Goldman to step down as the chair of the committee. If she's not able to do her job, let's get somebody who will. And I've got to ask this question. I asked it in my column, and I'm going to ask it now again. Where the hell is the mayor of Newton, Mayor Ruth Ann Fuller? This is happening right underneath her nose. Why is she not holding these people accountable? It is time that people get fired. It is time that heads roll. And it's time that you, the parents, the taxpayers of Newton and Massachusetts, take our schools back. If this is happening in Newton, I guarantee you, God is my witness, it is happening in public school and in public school after public school, all across Massachusetts, all across New England, all across America. And so what I want you to know is what the Palestinians are teaching in their schools and what the Saudis are teaching in their mosques and in their madrasas all over the Middle East and now here in North America is taking place right in there. This is ground zero in the fight for our country. And that's why we are here to tell David Fleischman and Ruth Goldman, you can hide as long as you want, but eventually you're going to have to answer to us. And we will not allow radical Islamic extremism and anti-Semitism to take root in our United States of America. Because here we have one call and one call only. America, love it or leave it. And to me, the person of the hour, as far as I'm concerned, 94 years old.
94 years young.
94 years young. I said this to her when I met her. You look better than I do, for God's sakes. What's your secret?
I go for Congress.
Margot, you all know her. Let's give her a big welcome.
I'm going to say the first 2 lines, the only 2 lines, and after I say them, we'll all say them together, okay? Here we go. 2, 4, 6, 8. Don't let schools indoctrinate. Are you ready? 6, 8. Don't let schools indoctrinate. 2, 4, 6, 8. Don't let schools indoctrinate. 2, 4, 6, 8. Don't let schools indoctrinate.
She is the president of PJTM, Lori Cardoza-Moore. I've heard great things about her. I cannot wait to listen to her speech because I hear it's going to be an absolute wall banger. So please, let's give her a really warm welcome.
All right, can everybody hear me? Oh my gosh. First of all, I have to tell you all, I am shocked and I'm amazed. I'm coming from Tennessee. Okay, we're from Franklin, Tennessee, just south of Nashville. And I can't tell you, I want to cry looking at all of you. We've been fighting this battle, not just in Tennessee with regards to the textbooks, but we've been fighting the battle all over the country. And I want to tell you, there are more who are with us than are against us. There are more parents and citizens just like yourselves who are taking on the textbook issue with their school board, with their superintendent of schools. I want to just share with you real quick what happened in Tennessee, because I think it's important as it relates to what you're experiencing here, because you are not fighting this battle alone, even though everyone has to fight their own battle in their own community. We had a parent in Williamson County who came to our organization and said to me, this is a woman who supported us. She said, you'll never believe what we're teaching our children in Williamson County schools. Williamson County is one of the top 10 most conservative, evangelical, Christian, Republican, wealthiest counties in the country. She brought me a textbook, a Pearson Human Geography history book. The textbook had a quote that legitimized Palestinians blowing themselves up in a Jerusalem restaurant because they were waging a war against Israeli government policies and army actions. She not only brought me that, she brought me instructional materials with sources that were cited, that were not there. The sources that they cited were organizations like the PLO. There were no Israel, the Ministry of Strategy, or there's no American sources cited. This was all propaganda. We ended up taking on that textbook and bringing it to our school board and demanding that the textbook be removed. And we got the same stonewalling response that you have received in this community. We ended up taking on the school board, and we told them one night when they were voting to remove the textbook that if you do not remove this textbook from this school, it does not reflect the values of our community, we will remove you from office. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That was an election year. We worked from April to August. We raised up grassroots citizens just like people here. They ran for office, they ran for school board, and I will tell you that we replaced every one of the school board members who were up for re-election. But it didn't stop there, it got better. We scared the heebie-jeebies out of the state legislature because they saw what one group of parents could do, mobilize to action, what one community could do in removing all those elected officials, and they were afraid that we were coming after them next. They were holding hearings. Ladies and gentlemen, as a result of what we did, just one community like yours, we changed the laws in Tennessee with regards to how textbooks are adopted and approved in our state. That is a model for other states. But I want to tell you, the content that you find in the textbooks, they're not just anti-Semitic. As we researched, just like you did, they were anti-Judeo-Christian, anti-American, anti-West, and anti-Israel, and they were pro-Islamic. But ladies and gentlemen, we didn't get here overnight. It's not gonna be resolved overnight. But we must unite together as a community and stand together as Americans. Our country is at stake.
The next speaker is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce him. I've had him on my show several times. He is one of the bravest, most patriotic, and one of the most learned men I've ever encountered. He actually, is this possible? You flew here from Africa? You flew here from Africa.
I was in Africa. Yeah.
You were in Africa. The guy came from Africa to be here. Huh? Huh? Look at that. Look at that. Let's give a big, warm welcome to the president of Americans for Peace and Tolerance, the one and only Charles Jacobs.
In Newton schools, we're bombarded with Islamic propaganda. So-called educational materials produced or financed by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the PLO are being taught in Newton schools. All under the watchful eyes of school superintendent David Fleischman, who gets paid $300,000 a year to lead the education of our children, who is the highest paid employee of Newton. He's been at the job since 2010, but he's been promoting indoctrination, not education. Indoctrination that poisons young minds with lies and allows hatred and divisiveness to be spread in the schools. He lies to the students, and he lies to their parents, the citizens of Newton who pay his salary. He even lies by plagiarizing speeches. Just ask Deval Patrick. David Fleischman permitted Newton high school teachers to be trained by a rabid Israel hater. Imagine, Newton school teachers were instructed by someone who led a campaign to boycott Israel in Somerville. Fleischman let students be taught a blood libel, that Jews in Israel murder Palestinian women in jail rooms, a slanderous lie. He let his teachers give out a false copy of the Hamas Charter, so students wouldn't see the real Hamas Charter, which calls for the religious murder of every Jew on the planet. All this to make the Israelis seem stiff-necked and unreasonable Jews. Fabricator Fleischman, that's a good one. Fabricator Fleischman let the teachers present false maps to the students, maps that were created by the PLO, maps that dishonestly represent the image of a fictional Palestinian state. The maps lie and Fleischman lies because he didn't tell the students that the maps were PLO maps, so the students thought they were real. Even MSNBC had to apologize for using these fictional maps, but the Newton superintendent did not have the decency to apologize. For shame. When community members and parents asked him to get rid of the poison, he stonewalled us, and he lied to our faces in school committee meeting after school committee meeting. He used an excuse that Joseph Goebbels would have been proud of. He said that presenting students with the lie that Jews kill Arab women in jail was really only an exercise in critical thinking. Tell me, friends, why does David Fleischman let teachers in Newton whitewash Islam? Dishonest David has the kids in Newton learn that jihad, holy war, actually refers only to a Muslim's personal efforts at self-improvement. That's what the kids in Newton are learning. Imagine. You know, or you should know, that we're led by a 96-year-old, 94-year-old, indefatigable warrior lady, Margot Einstein, who pestered and pestered the lazy, cowardly Jewish leaders here to act. We demand school leadership that respects parents, that respects the students, that respects the truth. We demand transparency. We need new leadership. David Fleischman must go. Thank you.
Our next speaker is my distinct honor and privilege. She is a mother. Her name is Judy Elovitz Greenberg. She is the mother of several children who have attended Newton schools. And she's here to share her experience of what her children underwent and what Fleischman allowed to take place in the classroom. So please, let's give a big warm welcome to Judy.
Yay! I have lived in Newton for over half a century.
Good.
I'm not going to put up with this. Good. They're poisoning our kids. How do we shape the future? By changing the textbooks, by poisoning the textbooks. Come on, teach our kids the truth.
That's right.
How are they going to be able to, unfortunately they can lead, how are they going to be able to be responsible leaders, to lead us to the truth, to lead us to the future that we deserve, that we have worked for? When they're being fed baloney, when they're being fed maps of Palestine with no Israel there?
Where's
No such
Palestine?
thing as Palestine.
Oh really? That's not what they learned there. Last year they took there was an assignment to take a virtual trip on a pilgrimage to the Hajj. Have you guys heard about that?
That's nice.
Come on! With Jerusalem as one of the Arab cities, one of the Islamic cities.
Never.
Come on, Newton. This is our town. It's our city. Let's take it back.
Awesome job, Judy. Good job, Judy. That was fabulous.
Judy is 1000% correct. Look, my friends, what we have to do, and let's be very clear, we've got to take our schools back, we've got to take our city back, we've got to take our state back, and we've got to take our country back. So I read this over the weekend, and I got to tell you, it was one of my key sources of research for my column. It's called Indoctrinating Our Youth, How a U.S. Public School Curriculum, i.e. Newton, skews the Arab-Israeli conflict and Islam. It blows the entire whistle on the Islamization of our kids, the indoctrination of our children, and the rabid anti-Semitism and anti-Americanism that has been allowed to fester under the watch of David Fleischman and Ruth Goldman. So please, all of you, go online if you can, download it and read it. It's going to send chills down your spine. Is this woman a warrior, or is this woman a warrior? I want to congratulate you for your courage, for your bravery, your patriotism, your civic engagement, your love of the Newton school system, of Newton and of America. Margot, you're a true inspiration to all of us. And it is people like you that made America great. And it is people like you that will make us great again. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is for you.
Love you, Margot.
God bless you.
What's this rally all about? Fleischman fired, Goldman out. Here we go. What's this rally all about? Fleischman fired, Goldman out. What's this rally all about?
Fleischman fired!